It was early, and then we made some mistakes, and I think, going into it, there were two things that concerned me. One was turnovers, and one was the kicking game, and I think in both those situations we were beaten. And certainly kudos to Harvard. They played great. To Coach Murphy and his staff, they did a nice job with the game plan and everything, but for us to come here, we knew we'd have to play a very, very solid game with minimal amount of mistakes, turnovers, penalties, kick game errors, and obviously we didn't do that today. So kudos to them. Some of that was forced, but basically that was the story of the game.
Well, you was impressed with their defense stopping the run as much as they did.
Yeah, I think their kids up front did a really nice job, and I think the line of scrimmage was certainly won by their defensive kids against our down kids. And we've struggled more than we've struggled at any point this year to run the football, and that I thought was a huge part of the game where we became really just one-dimensional. And I think that's hard to win any game when you can't establish even a semblance of a running attack. And so again, it goes back to the same thing again. You're going to have to play really well, and you're going to have to execute your offense and not make mistakes, and we weren't able to do that today.
Tough to watch them put up 37 straight points on you like that and not be able to get many first downs or score.
Yeah, I got frustrated. I mean, there was quite a few 3-and-outs in that second half, and again, we started the half off and we made 7 yards on the first play, and 2 more running plays later, we couldn't make the final 3. We ended up punting the ball. So obviously, that's not the way you wanted to start the quarter. But again, our inability to run the football as well as we needed to run the football was probably the story of the game. We just became so one-dimensional in terms of throwing the football. We become a lot easier to defense, and I think it obviously plays right into Harvard's hands.
Eric, in terms of their offense and what they did in that stretch where they scored 37 points, how tough was that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't easy for us. They came out second half. Their defense got that first 3 down, and then they went right down and scored, and that's it's pretty tough to bounce back from and throw a couple turnovers in there. Obviously looking back, we wish we would have done things a little better. Play here, play there, but Harvard they outplayed us today. And, there's not really much else that needs to be said.
Ryan, can you talk about going one-on-one with Matt Hansen? You really been the only receiver that's had any sort of success against him this season. So what that match was like and how you were able to catch him.
I think it was a product of just there's a lot of single coverage, so that's really hard to play defense obviously, and Billy was putting the ball exactly where it needed to be. He was making it tough for him to make the play on the ball. That was the biggest thing.
Ryan, you were here last time you guys lost in Boston, and you've seen you've played this game 5 times now. What was this team like in comparison, the Harvard team in comparison to previous years?
I mean, this was a really good Harvard team. They came to our place last year, and we kind of did the same thing that they did to us today. We talked about it. We had to play perfect here at Harvard, and we didn't. So I think it was a product of us not playing a good game, or as good a game as we could have, and them playing a really good game.
Coach, you're just talking about Zach's playing in 27 on the team. He's a freshman. I know your team this year is only surrendered now 4 touchdowns in the rushing game. So, what did you see out of him?
Yeah, I mean, he played great. He played great. And their offensive line and tight ends blocked really well. So it was a combination of a good back behind a good push by the O-line and the tight ends. And they were able to establish some consistency in the run game. We were unable to establish any consistency in the run game, and that kind of was the tail of the game. So.
When you're ahead, the end of the first half, they get the strip by Ortiz, fumble recovery, 1 play in the end zone.
Yeah.
You get the mishandled snap, gets a field goal, so it's 10 points within a minute exactly.
Yeah, I mean, again, we lost a lot of momentum there, and it goes back to turnovers again. Those are 2 turnovers. One is via punt and downs, and one's via fumble, and you still have the same consequences. Again, you can't go against good teams, especially on the road, and put yourself in a scenario where you're going to turn the ball over 3 or 4 times and make a lot of mistakes. It's hard to win. I think that's been proven. So we knew we'd have to play well, and at times we played okay, but for the most part, they dominated play. They deserved to win.
Was it at all, in your mind, sort of bookmark put an end bookmark on the last 3 years at all, given that they won the championship today, and now you guys start things over in some form or not?
Well, I mean, I'm really proud of our kids. I mean, you realize how young our team is, and I think that's what everybody's forgetting. We graduated 33 seniors last year. We have 62 kids traveling. We have 12 kids who are seniors out of that 62. So this is a really young football team that's been somewhat erratic, but some of it's been caused not only by the opponent, but it's also been caused by our youth. So, I think the foundation's there. I think they've handled the season really well. They came in with a tremendous amount of pressure on them, and I thought they've handled the season really well. And I think when you're playing in significant games in week 9 and week 10, that's a good sign for your program. We played against a better team today, and again, this is a hard year schedule-wise for us, with at Brown, at Hart, at Dartmouth, all in the same year. So we take 3 of our furthest rides all in the same year. And again, so you got to deal with a lot of different things, and I thought our kids, for the most part, have done a really nice job with it. But I think the program is not going away. I think when you just look at the relative youth that we have relative to most teams in this league, we're probably younger than virtually every team in our league.
Ryan, you having been here before for this game, as Cal mentioned a moment ago, when you look at the guys who are going to be here next year, you think this will stick to some degree, or will just be wiped the slate this afternoon?
Like this loss will stick?
Yeah.
No, I think this will be a lot of extra motivation. No one's going to be worried about it next year. It'll be more come out guns blazing, let's get it back. And with how young the team is, I mean, we got a lot of really talented kids at a lot of different positions. So I think next year everyone will be ready to go.
Eric, can you talk about just getting pressure? For you guys getting pressure on Winters? You started out the game really being able to get to him, and then did they make a change, or can you just?
I mean, I thought we did a pretty decent job throughout most of the game. I mean, looking at the stats, they didn't really kill us throwing the ball. We had 130-something yards passing, but when it comes down to it, they control the line of scrimmage. Running the ball, and then again, you get a couple turnovers, you get field position, and then all of a sudden, we're down 17.5, and you look back at the scoreboard, it's 37-7. You're almost like, what happened? But he's a good player, and he made some plays running with the ball, and he made the throws that he needed to for them to win the game. So, like you said earlier, they played better today than we did, and they deserve to win.
Anything else, guys? Coach, what do you tell your players to come out next week and end the season on the high note? How do you get them?
I think we owe it to the seniors that we do have to send them out at home, on the right note. I mean, the kids have had, if we can win next week, we've lost 4 Ivy League games in the last 4 years. So it's been a pretty good run. And they've set a lot of records, and they've done a lot of great things for Penn and Penn football. So I'm hopeful, that our underclassmen, just out of deference and respect to the seniors, will come out there and really play their rear ends off, trying to get things back on track. I'd be disappointed if we didn't do that. So we'll lick our wounds, and we'll get back to work, and we'll come out and we'll put our best foot forward against Cornell and try to end the year on a positive note.
Thanks a lot, guys.